Hello, YouTube. I have got a samurai story for you. In the 1970s, Japan built realistic, Pioneer, Kenwood. You name it, they built it. And they were awesome because they were the samurai. And that's a fact. And today, Pioneer is made in Malaysia. And I think it's owned by the Chinese. And that sucks, you know. People are always bugging me about, my. There's no secret. I love Klipsch speakers. I just do. Are they made in China? Yeah. A few models are definitely made in China. That's for damn sure. All the Heritage line are made in Hope, Arkansas. But they're made in China. But so are Bose, even their headphones and stuff like that. Same with JBL. Polk Audio, that's a American company. Definitive Technology, that's an American company. Harman Kardon, American company. Infinity, an American company. Emotiva, an American company. SVS, your Titans and your huge subwoofers. They're made in China. Martin Logan's Motion series. The entry level stuff is made in China as well. Interesting. And then like Fender, like that's a U.S. company. Marshall's a U.K. company. Vox is a U.K. Orange is U.K. PV is USA. Blackstar U.K. Yamaha is Japanese. Of course it is. They make the piano. Those are all guitar amplifiers and stuff like that. And they're all, either UK companies or US companies, but they've sold rock and roll and, sent everything to China to be manufactured. And then you get into your like pro audio, Harman Kardon, JBL, Crown amplifiers, and that's pro audio. And that stuff's all built in China, and they're all US companies, And then you get into some, well, I don't know, this one kind of bugs me. Like Mark Levinson, like he does high-end lines shifted to China for Red Rose series number 53 monoblocks. So those are built in China. Cambridge Audio, out of, the UK, Britain really. They're manufactured in China. Like all these streamers are manufactured in China, like Eversolo, Weem. I think Weem is. I think they're both Chinese companies. I guess my point is and I don't want to dive too deep into this. I mean that's 80 different sources, and I know there's 100 more brands, but like how deep can a guy dive into this? The thing is how long is it going to take for China to become the new samurai, the new Japan? You know what I mean? Like China will eventually surpass Japan simply because there's just more people. And there's probably as many engineers in China as there are people in California, even though people move out of California every day. More people move out of California a day than move into California. And that's just that's a political issue that I really whatever. So some of this stuff is probably going to change, I think, because of the tariffs and stuff like that. But how much of it's going to change? Do you think that? Well, let's use another example. Let's go to Apple. Apple is made in China. Everybody, like the Chinese people. It's actually a fashion statement in China to own an Apple phone. Maybe a fashion statement in America is to drive a Bentley, or own a Rolex or whatever. But in China, it's an Apple phone. That's like we're living in two different worlds. You know what I mean? At the same time, and yeah, like Apple. Apple moved their production to China in 2001, I think, and that was Steve Jobs' call. I mean, they were going bankrupt, so they needed a cheaper way to manufacture, and became the third largest company in the world, worth $3.76 trillion, I think they are. Their stock price is like $254 or something like that. You know, and they just come out with an aluminum phone. An aluminum phone, you know. Oh God, really? An aluminum phone? Yeah, you drop that and it's getting scratched pretty badly. You're gonna need a case. I mean, not that people don't buy cases for their phones, but I mean, come on, man. Like an aluminum phone, really? Not a good idea. Not a good idea. I don't know who thought of that. Like, don't get me wrong. I think that they should try maybe different materials and stuff like that. And aluminum is strong, but I mean, if I were to take a piece of aluminum, like right here in my hand, and take this pen, and I go like that, I could scratch that with a pen, you know. I don't even care if it's aircraft grade aluminum, because there are many different grades of aluminum. Not that I'm a metallurgist, but I do weld quite a bit. So, I mean, you know when the steel's good, and you know when the aluminum's good when you're welding, and you know it right away. It's just that easy. Anyway, you know, and that's funny because China's like 20% of the market, or not China, sorry, Apple's 20% of the market, but 80% of the profitability in, you know, what they do, like computers, and like they just make more money than other companies. Like they make more money than Samsung with their phones, not with their TVs and all that other stuff. You know, their phones. They make more money than any other phone company. They just do. They probably make more money. Like Nvidia, Nvidia is, you know, they're like the biggest company in the world right now. Then Microsoft, and then Apple. So Microsoft doesn't manufacture a computer. Well, I guess they do. I mean, those little ones, but they're more of a software company. You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't know. I don't like. I'm always buying an Asus or I don't know, like a Acer or some sort of laptop. You know what I mean? And you know, Mac. I got a Mac over there too, but I just I just don't see it. You know what I mean? Like, I can't see them leaving China. I just can't. Like, they would have to pick up boatloads and boatloads and boatloads of equipment that has been shared in partnership with Foxconn, or whatever company it is. I think it's Foxconn, to build Apple products. Like, we have MIT in the United States, and SAIT and NAIT and all kinds of different technical schools here in the West. And in China, one of their schools is actually Apple. It's actually Apple, you know, like, that's crazy how much education Apple has provided to the East in order to get their products made cheaper for you and for me, if you like Apple products. And some of you don't, and that's fine, because that's what capitalism is all about. You know, if you like the Android, which I think the Android is deadly, I think Apple is deadly. You know, they both have their strong suits and they both have their weak suits, and that's just life. But we'll see what tariffs do. We'll see what tariffs do, because if you Google it or you grok it and you look at what they're going to do, because the only one really getting rich right now is the government of the United States of America. I hate to break it to you, because everything else shows down. Stock market's too volatile to even track on that one. Anyway, those are just my thoughts on the samurai. My thoughts on the samurai. You know, maybe the Mongols take over the Chinese. My dad always said they would anyway. and he died 30 some odd years ago. He always said that China would become the biggest, strongest country in the world, but of course it isn't yet. Keyword there's yet. Anyway, you guys have a good day. Hope you liked the video.